Howdy Saints. Today's video, I just want to show you guys a convenient upgrade that you can do to your kayak. The idea comes from Rob at 1941 Designs. He did this with his Jeep on the lift gate, which would be great. You can make it very convenient to go from your Jeep straight to your kayak. Like I have our Packout mounts that are on my roof rack where I could just slide off a Packout and put it right onto my kayak. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this mount kit and I'm going to mount it under these bungees all the way to the back of the boat here. I'm going to get it centered. The only thing that is kind of tricky right here is there's this little lip that goes up right here, about, I would say right at an inch, 3/4 of an inch, in that ballpark. And to put screws through these front mounts and this middle one, I'm going to need to have something in there to shim and hold up the rack there. What I'm thinking about doing to start is I'm just going to screw down the back part, and then I'm going to get a measurement roughly of how much it needs to be shimmed up. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Ace Hardware and I'm going to get a stainless nut that's the approximate thickness I need, and I'm going to put it underneath the holes on the bottom side against the plastic part of the boat, maybe with a washer, and I'm going to use that to lift up, and then I'm going to use a stainless screw to screw into the kayak. I'll show you those here in just a second. Here's one of those screws. It's a stainless, it's like a lag, but I would say it's got a good enough thread on it that it's, which I guess lags do have really good coarse threads, it's gonna go into the plastic and really lock in. You just wanna make sure you don't over tighten them where you start spinning in place in this plastic, because you want it to stay as watertight as possible. Granted, having 7 little holes in this thing is not gonna make a big difference unless you just set the boat upside down in water for days. Then yeah, your boat might eventually sink because of the water that's slowly trickling in there. But the little relief hole there, or drain hole, is bigger. It's just got a little cap on it, but this is going to be our cap in our screw holes right here. I got this 1¼ inch size that will work fine for the rear stuff. Like it'll go in easily 3/4 of an inch to a 1/2 inch. I might have to go back to the store. Yeah, for the front ones, I'm definitely gonna have to go back to the store and get some like 2 inch to maybe 2.5 inch long ones, so that I can actually hit into the plastic up in here in the front side where it raises or it lowers down, and we'll go from there. You might also be asking, why go this far to mount a Packout? Well, one reason is to have communication that's there, dry, ready to go if you need it. Second is so that you don't flip your kayak with this thing in one of those little waterproof bags, and then the waterproof bag fails on you and actually makes it worse because it holds water right up against your phone. So what we're gonna do is the Packout conveniently fits the phone in that middle section, and the GMRS radio will fit right next to your phone, and then you could pack in stuff like a first aid kit, maybe some food you want to keep dry. The list goes on, people. So that's the concept here. Later today I'll try to get it recorded, and I'm gonna make a really quick video hopefully out of this little hack. Again, thank you Rob for the idea. See you later. So I went to Ace Hardware today and got all the hardware we needed for the rest of the project. Like I said, we're gonna take a nut and a washer and stack them where we need to shim. So let's grab one of our Packouts and cut it apart, and then we'll see how well it shims with that nut and washer, as long as I don't lose the washer. Here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna give a pilot hole on this back middle one where I think center is, which conveniently you can use these little, with my kayak at least, I have a good reference point of what is straight on my kayak using these little ribs on the Packout. So I'm gonna pull it nice and flush and square, at least really close to square. And I'm just gonna drill hole number one with an 1/8 inch bit that's a little bit smaller than a 1/4 inch. That way the screw really wants to bond to the hole. Okay, so we got number one done. I've always been curious how thick these are. The way, from what I can see, it's about an 1/8 inch thick material. So now let's get a small screw. Let's put our first screw in. Let me get my other drill ready. Okay, let's get our, I was kind of debating if I wanted to do this with an impact, but we'll give it a shot on this first one. Okay, so let's bring it back. Let's center it up again. A little loose still, so let's pull it. And I kind of drilled these smaller than the Packout would allow, just because it would allow for a little bit of upsizing if I ever need to re-drill them and do it again. So I figured that would help for the longevity of my kayak. Now we're going to drill another hole. We're going to put a little bit of tension on it by drilling towards the back side of the Packout holes. Just a little bit. Okay, let's put in these screws. Then we'll move to the front. Let's figure out what we need to do to center it up. This one's tight. These two over here are still a little loose. We're gonna move to the front. I think I'm gonna have to shim this a little bit better than I originally planned. So I might have to use double washers on the top up here. It's gonna be a little challenging getting the screw down in it. So I might put you guys on a time lapse just so you can watch me do it. Let's go ahead and try a first example of how it will fit. I don't think we'll have any problems, but let's just make sure. Slide, and it clips in pretty good. I like that. I like how the ropes look like it's kind of holding it down too. But you know, the only downside is if you need to get into it often, you'd probably have to do something like this to access it. And turning around to get to it will be a little tough, but you know, if you really need it bad enough, you'll get it. But I like the way that looks. Slides off relatively easy. Heck, you can even put the straps underneath the case, the Packout base down here like this, and make it easy to slide stuff out. That's nice. Little hidden trick. Push everything forward, clip it in like that, and look, you don't even have to move the ropes out of the way anymore. That's pretty nice. And that's tight right there. This one is even stiffer on here than the other one was originally. I'm gonna go and tighten it up by hand. Let's just do an initial test. I like how you can put these ropes underneath like this to make it easier for you to slide your Packout on. At least on my lifetime kayak it is. Just set your Packout in here where it pushes these strings back. Man, that's nice. And these strings actually kind of put some pressure on it where it's not just rattling around on it either. But I have something even cooler. Let me show you. While at Ace earlier, I thought I would get one of these nice new cooler Packouts. And man, That looks nice. Now you can have your whole lunchbox on there with all your drinks and stuff in it. This is the $75 unit. And it's got a little bit of everything. Pinholes, maybe some small tools, a front pouch. And then the inside, plenty of room for activities. I mean, you could stick this whole other pack out almost down inside of it for reference. There you have it. So that's that. So I'm just gonna finish tightening up this original one I installed with the hand screwdriver, just making sure everything feels nice and snug. That first screw kind of felt a little questionable, but we'll just be easy on the rest of them. Just make sure you don't over tighten them, whatever you do. If it's feeling tight, just stick with it. Hopefully this little hack becomes common suit, and a lot of you guys out there with kayaks like this decide to start adding your own pack out so you can carry stuff dry that's attached to your kayak where it won't float off by itself. First trip with the Packouts has gone good so far. We're here on the river right now. It kept the phones and stuff dry when we rolled it a couple times, so it did all the correct stuff it needed to do. Whoa! Got hung up in a tree there. Anyways, the Packouts are doing great. They've kept everything dry, so they've done what we needed to do, and it's just super easy for it to hang on and not get lost. So anyways, your friend St. Chris, God bless.
What the heck, bud? Where'd you go? Oh gosh, Chris.
Sorry, I was making sure my wife didn't get...
I know. Like, oh no, we're gonna be under the tree in a minute here.
So this